In the toil of thinking, in the serenity of books, in the message of prophets, the songs of poets, and the wisdom of interpreters. In discoveries of continents of truth, whose margins we may see, we delight in free minds and in their thinking. In the majesty of the moral order, in the faith that right will triumph, in the courage given us when we ally ourselves to truth in any form, in the privilege of being co-workers in good causes, we celebrate the unseen goals we share and serve. Let us build a world safe from war and oppression, free and satisfying, one that ultimately furnishes answers for all of us. Please be seated.
Graduates, friends, and family, good morning and welcome. I'm Pam Sugerman, Dean of the Faculty of Arts. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which we are celebrating today. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share that territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. Class of 2022, it's wonderful to be able to celebrate your academic achievements in person. The 10 departments that make up the Faculty of Arts create an educational experience that offers depth and breadth, one that's personally meaningful and of public consequence, an education that will guide you not only as professionals and entrepreneurs, but as engaged community members, whether these communities be at the local, national, or global levels. Now, more than ever, during this time of rapid change, precarity, inequality, awakening, hope, and resistance, the knowledge and the perspectives that you've acquired through a liberal arts education are of paramount importance. They will help you to navigate the complex world around us. In your studies here, you will have explored some of the following issues: Indigenous governance and land claims, democratic engagement and the electoral process, global migration and settlement, public finance, money and banking, youth music cultures, American Sign Language, public policy making and public administration, environmental sustainability, racism and policing, food security, Black diasporas, classical Indian philosophy, memory, dementia, cognitive aging, sexual health, addictions, worry, and anxiety. Interdisciplinary scholarship is fundamental to the Faculty of Arts. We bridge the humanities and social sciences, and we demonstrate the ways in which a strong, comprehensive, and academically rigorous education prepares students to both understand and to shape the world in which they live. The skills and, importantly, the sensibilities that an arts education cultivates, the ability to develop a critical creative framework to communicate complicated and nuanced ideas, to offer imaginative solutions, to challenge systemic injustice, to apply theoretical knowledge in addressing real-world problems, and quite simply, imagine beyond one's current realities. These are all of immense value. And in my admittedly very biased view, at the heart of every great university is a vibrant Faculty of Arts. We educators in the humanities and social sciences are proud to have played a role in your formation in shaping the amazing class of 2022. Your generation's journey has been like no other. Amidst a global pandemic, the dramatic intervention of digital technologies in social life, economic and social insecurity, and worldwide calls for action against pervasive racism and colonization, you have demonstrated hope, resolve, and vision. You have navigated and will continue to traverse a life that is nonlinear and filled with unexpected occurrences, and you will do so with purpose and determination. In the face of all that's happening around us, I hope that you're able to pause and celebrate this milestone. So please slow down. Take time to reflect on the meaning of your experiences of the past several years, both within and beyond the walls of the university. And whether you were a Dean's List student or one who struggled academically, what's most important is that during your time at Toronto Metropolitan University, you were exposed to new ideas, engaged with a wider circle of people, participated in different kinds of conversations, and expanded your horizons. This convocation does not mark the culmination of your journey. Rather, it represents a transition to the next stage of your lives. And as you move forward into the world beyond Toronto Met, into other communities, workplaces, and cultures, we encourage you to draw on the knowledge that you've gained here, the skills honed, and the perspectives that you've developed during your years with us. On behalf of all of the faculty and staff in arts, I wish to say that we are extremely proud of you, and we are grateful to you for all that you have given back to us during your time here. Your passion, your energy, your compassion, indeed your humanity have been truly inspirational, and you may or may not know this, but it's what keeps us going. So to begin this very special day, I introduce you to the Chancellor of Toronto Metropolitan University, Janice Fukakusa.
Graduands, I am proud and honored to speak to you today. Today is a time of very well-deserved celebration, and we all share our pride in your success with everyone whose love and support has played a part in bringing you here today. Normally, at this stage of the convocation, I typically share a few pieces of advice with the graduating class. However, after 2 years of pandemic, I think that the graduands should be the ones giving the advice. Graduands, you went through a remarkable experience. You endured and came through it, achieving your ultimate objective. You succeeded by facing and overcoming unforeseen barriers, and I hope you share your experience with others and be proud of what you have achieved. In fact, be proud of the impact of everything you do in the months and years to come. Take time to reflect on your achievements, because the achievements build a confidence that is essential to overcome the inevitable challenges in the years ahead. And remember, when you look back at your university experience, I encourage you to remember what you learned about yourself. That resilience means that you learn from experience, and determination will keep you focused on your dreams. After all, you all have proven that you have the talent to succeed. On this special day of celebration, let me close by offering my congratulations and best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Fukakusa. Now, please welcome the university's president and vice chancellor, Mohamed Lashmi.
Thank you. Welcome to our graduates, family and friends, colleagues from across the university and beyond. Class of 2022. This is an important day for you, and you have our warmest congratulations. You graduate at a milestone moment in history. Despite the challenges brought on by the pandemic, you remained committed to your studies, kept connected with your classes, and served your community in more ways than I can imagine. A milestone also because your graduating year will be forever linked to our historic name change. What has not changed from the moment you choose to study here to the moment you cross the stage to accept your award are the values that define our university. And when you return as alumni, you will feel right at home. Class of 2022, the first graduating class of Toronto Metropolitan University, you helped shape this place. Now, both you and the university look ahead to a new chapter and a bright future. A future of promise and optimism, better prepared than ever to meet the challenges and opportunities ahead. This is your time. You have what the world is looking for: talent, energy, and new ideas. Your years here have prepared you for this moment. We are very glad that you choose this university, that you immerse yourself in our university community. I hope you are feeling grateful for each other, for the good friends who shared your university experience and are now friends for life, which brings us full circle. While we may find success as individuals, as a society, we depend on each other. We need loved ones, and you have many who are with you today to celebrate with you, colleagues and community. In French, you know, we never say goodbye. Instead, we say au revoir, which literally means until we see you again. Enjoy your very special day and stay close contact with your alma mater. Forever, we will shape the future. Thank you very much, and I invite you now to please enjoy a short video.
Today marks a momentous moment in the story of your life. Just a few years ago, you began a new chapter. For some, that meant moving to a new city. For many, that meant discovering new perspectives. And for all, that meant opening your mind to new possibilities. Along the way, you were met with challenges unfamiliar to those who came before you and to those who follow. You embraced the responsibility of learning and unlearning, inspired by the people and places that played a part. Together, we evolved. While this chapter comes to a close, your story continues. Tomorrow, you'll remember this moment, not for who you were, but for who you have become. Today, we'll celebrate the diversity of your experience, your commitment to shaping a better future, and your part in our story. As the first graduating class of Toronto Metropolitan University.
Chancellor Fukakusa, President Lashmi, Provost Simpson, deans, esteemed colleagues, and representatives who join us on stage, members of the graduating class, family, and friends, honored guests. It is my great privilege to deliver the citation for Avi Yao Yao Go, upon whom Toronto Metropolitan University is conferring the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa, our highest award. It may, or perhaps may not, surprise many Canadians to learn that Chinese immigrants were banned from Canada for almost 25 years, between the years 1923 to 1947. This was a blatant manifestation of institutional racism. And more recently, through the pandemic, there have been many painful reminders that anti-Asian racism is not situated only in the past. We are confronting yet another spate of anti-Asian hate. And this time, many of us are acknowledging and confronting our country's long history of racial discrimination. We owe a huge debt to Madam Justice A.V. Goh for her tireless contributions in this endeavor, her work to expose racism in Canada and to seek racial justice and equity. Madam Justice Goh received a bachelor's degree from the University of Waterloo, a law degree from the University of Toronto, and a Master of Laws from Osgoode Hall Law School. She has devoted the bulk of her career to breaking down barriers that exist for marginalized groups and challenging systemic racism and discrimination within the legal system. For close to 3 decades, beginning in 1991, Madam Justice Goh served as Executive Director of the Metro Toronto Chinese and Southeast Asian Legal Clinic, a clinic that provides free legal services to low-income, non-English speaking refugees and migrants from Asian communities in the inner city and across the GTA. And in addition to overseeing important frontline services, Madam Justice Goh engaged in advocacy work, launching legal challenges at all levels. As president of the Toronto chapter of the Chinese Canadian National Council, she furthermore led the organization's campaign to obtain redress from the federal government for the Chinese head tax and the Chinese Exclusion Act, an act that banned most Chinese immigration to Canada from, as I said, 1923 to 1947. Though the legal action was not successful, her activism on this issue helped to push the federal government to offer redress and reparations to survivors in 2006. In 2019, Justice Goh was appointed as the first independent complaints review officer for the Immigration Consultants of Canada Regulatory Council. And last August, she was appointed Justice of the Federal Court, an ex officio member of the Federal Court of Appeal. Justice Goh has also received the Order of Ontario, the Federation of Asian Canadian Lawyer of Distinction Award, the City of Toronto's William P. Hubbard Award for Race Relations, and the Urban Alliance on Race Relations Award in Justice. And the list could go on and on. Madam Justice Goh, for your tireless and brave efforts as an advocate for those in equity-deserving and equity-seeking communities, for your unrelenting contestation of racial discrimination and inequality, for your impassioned leadership, we celebrate and honor you today. I would now like to call Chancellor Fukakusa, President Lashmi, and Madam Justice Goh to the podium for conferring of the degree.
Toronto Metropolitan University, by virtue of the authority granted by the Province of Ontario under the University Act, has awarded the degree Doctor of Laws honoris causa with all the rights and privileges attended thereon to A.V. Yao Yao Goh.
Chancellor Fukakusa, President Lashmi, Provost Simpson, members of the Senate and Board of Governors, graduates, and distinguished guests, it's my great honor to be receiving an honorary doctorate from Toronto Metropolitan University. I still have to get used to it. This honor is particularly welcome as it will be the first degree that I have received for which I did not have to study. While always studious, I was never an enthusiastic student because of the pressure that came with schooling. So even now, I still have nightmares from time to time about exams that I have forgotten to prepare for. So knowing how much pressure that all the graduates who are present here today have been put under over the last number of years, I want you all to know that your achievement is well-deserved and your future will be brighter because of it. Speaking to you today solely in a personal capacity and not as a judge of the federal court, I want to acknowledge the work done by TMU to implement the recommendations made by the Standing Strong Task Force in order to continue on its path towards reconciliation with Indigenous peoples and towards building a more inclusive and equitable future for all. As the Honorable Justice Marie Sinclair said at the release of the final Truth and Reconciliation report, we owe it to each other to build a Canada based on our shared future. He also said, achieving reconciliation is like climbing a mountain. We must proceed a step at a time. As it so happens, I recently had the pleasure of, quote unquote, climbing the Rocky Mountains by way of a spectacular train ride. As the train wound through the majestic mountain ranges and in the comfort of my seat, I sat in awe of the snow-capped mountains that rise thousands of feet above the sea, blanketed with high sky waterfalls and rushing rapids. Occasionally, my attention was drawn away from the towering mountains by eagles and other wildlife that call this region their home, and by the turquoise-colored lakes fed by glacial waters that have flowed since long before any human has stepped foot on these lands. Yet without regard for the original names as given to them by Indigenous peoples, many of these mountains, lakes, and rivers were renamed by white explorers, including the surveyors who were sent there to map out the most efficient routes to follow in order to pass through the Rockies. In the early 1880s, about 15,000 Chinese workers were brought to Canada to work on the National Railroad that connected this land from coast to coast. These workers were paid half the wages as compared to their white counterparts, while they were assigned some of the most dangerous and difficult jobs as they pushed through the Rocky Mountains. As our train slowly rolled through Craigellachie, where the last spike was driven in 1885, I thought about all the Chinese workers who were excluded from the famous last spike photo taken with various officials and an all-white railway crew. And while my fellow passengers were marveling at the engineering ingenuity behind the spiral tunnels that allowed the train to double back upon itself twice in order to do a steep climb up the mountains by 290 degrees, I silently paid tribute to the thousands of the Chinese railway workers who were killed along the way, either by volatile explosives or by disease due to the harsh working conditions and persistent malnutrition. The Transcontinental Railway was built in exchange for the agreement of British Columbia to join the Dominion. Canada, as a nation, would probably not have existed without the railroad. Yet the only thanks that the Chinese received from the Canadian government at the time was a head tax imposed beginning in 1885, right after the completion of the railway, to restrict Chinese immigrants from entering Canada. The $50 head tax was increased to $100 in 1900 and then to $500 in 1904, only to be replaced by, as mentioned, the Chinese Exclusion Act that was passed in 1923 to ban all but a few Chinese from entering. The Exclusion Act was repealed in 1947, the same year when Chinese Canadians were finally given the right to vote and were finally allowed to practice law. As we mark the 75th anniversary of the repeal of the Exclusion Act, I stand here today being honored, among other things, as the first Chinese Canadian to be appointed to the federal court 50 years after its establishment. But I am hopeful that with the promise of increasing diversity on the bench, we will see greater representation of Indigenous peoples, people of color, and women in the judiciary. So just like the Chinese workers who had made my rise through the Rockies a reality, my journey as a lawyer and now a judge has also been made possible by many people who have worked with, supported, and inspired me along the way. My parents, who while they were with us, supported me and gave me the freedom to choose my own path, especially my mother who, despite the lifelong oppression she had to endure as a woman, made sure her two daughters received the education they need to succeed and become independent. My sister, Amy Go, she's here somewhere, a formidable social justice advocate in her own right and equally deserving of the kind of recognition I'm receiving today. My life partner, Michael Clure, who, in his often very annoying way, constantly reminds me of all my imperfections, including my oversized ego and sense of self-importance. My four older brothers who indulge me, their youngest sibling, my former fellow travelers in the social justice movement who continue to fight the good fight and never give up, and above all, the tens of thousands of clients that I had the honor of serving during the 3 decades I worked in the community legal clinic system, the low-income racialized people who work hard yet struggle to make ends meet. They put their faith in me to help them navigate through the labyrinth of the Canadian legal system, and in the process, taught me how to become a better lawyer, and more importantly, a better human being. I have all these people to thank for giving me the gifts of compassion, wisdom, and humility, which I hope will continue to guide me for the rest of my legal career. So to those of you who are embarking on the next chapter of your life journey, I hope that you too will be guided by these same qualities and will have the same good fortune that I've had of being supported by the people you love and respect. Whichever path you choose, be it an academic pursuit or employment outside the ivory tower, and whatever cause you may wish to embrace, be it racial justice, climate action, or otherwise, I urge you not to forget who you are, where you came from, and the people who have been with you along the way. Stay true to yourself and the values and principles that define you as a caring human being. So I wish you all the success in your chosen path, and above all, I wish you a fulfilling life that helps give rise to positive change. With your help, I'm sure we will continue on a good path to truth and reconciliation, and together we will build a truly inclusive and equitable society for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Go, for those informative and truly inspiring words. As our graduates prepare to come forward, I request that you hold your applause until all graduates have crossed the stage. And also, please remain in your seats until all graduates have crossed. Having said this, however, we do welcome some spontaneous outbursts of joy, cheer, and perhaps even sighs of relief from family, friends, and mentors. And it's all part of the celebration. I now ask to come forward and thank in advance the university's registrar, Robin Parr.
Good morning. Will the graduands please rise if you're able? Chancellor Fukakusa, President Lashemi, Provost Simpson, honored guests, faculty members, staff, families, and friends of the graduands. I have the honor and pleasure to present graduands from Toronto Metropolitan University's Faculty of Arts and Yates School of Graduate Studies degree programs. Our graduands, including all those who are joining us for today's ceremony, as well as those unable to attend who are graduating in absentia. I certify that each has met the academic requirements for the awards that they are about to receive, and that each has been duly approved by the University's Senate. Congratulations to each of you. And you can be seated.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present candidates for the undergraduate degrees in the Faculty of Arts. Bachelor of Arts, Honors, Arts and Contemporary Studies. Eunice Addo. Heaven Brown. Kayla Casco with distinction. Kamal Chahal. Laura Charbonneau. Sierra Clancy. Claire Cornacchia with distinction. Janae Downs. Emma Forbes with distinction. Bella Karajian with distinction. Darren Karp. Frederica Kologianis. Seyon Lau with distinction. Daria Romanoff with distinction. Bria Scott. Charles Simard. Kevon Small. Jamie Strand. Marco Suarez. Savannah Tavares. Zheyu Wang. Brianna Webster. Bachelor of Arts, Honors, English, Dorartu Abdullahi. Eden Abraham with distinction. Omar Abulibde. Summer Al-Jolani with distinction. Isabel Anastasio. Amna Asif. Leanne Baker. Chelsea Bryan with distinction. Ashley Brown. Alessia Canestraro with distinction. Mengxiao Chen with distinction. Tashel Chinfat with distinction. Maria Couto with distinction. Veronica Lynn Dan. Alessia Dixon with distinction. Jillian Dizon. Emma Fraschetti with distinction. Juvian Gonzalez. Gardenia Grant. Christian Grossi with distinction. Ian Howard. Ross Hutchison with distinction. Anjali Jaikaran with distinction. Leila Kazemi Nijad. Cassandra Kurak with distinction. Karen Lee with distinction. Alexander McIsaac. Evelyn Magwood. Katitsa Majic. Mitushana Manokaran with distinction. Lavarnin Mehivarnin. Alice Mendeleev. Kia Morgan. Adia Nesbeth with distinction. Alexis Lee Newman. Kim Nguyen with distinction. Charalambos Orfanidis. Matthew Perfetti. Keisha Rendon. Chloe Robinson with distinction. Rebecca Rosillo with distinction. AJ Sharma. Alize Siddiq. Madison Sotirio. Jesse Zito with distinction. Samhar Tasfajergis. Nadia Tonkovic with distinction. Angela Trakov with distinction. Tiffany Young, with distinction. Jillian Dominique Zapatos. Varen Zhao, with distinction. Bachelor of Arts, Honors, English and Philosophy. Sarah Cortez Carranza. Ebony Ray Mullings, with distinction. Bachelor of Arts, Honors, Geographic Analysis. Abdi Ayana. Ashley Bennett. Justin Chen. Alexis Del Mundo. Gregory Drozdyuk. Sam Francis, with distinction. Erica French, with distinction. Nella Garofalo, with distinction. Andy Huang. Nushrat Ismail. Thomas Kostopoulos. Kevin Leff. Sigao Lee. Cameron Martins. Kevin Martins. Seamus Matchett Boyd. Chantel Miller. Victoria Profiti, with distinction. Jackson Reel. Jacob Richards. Dwayne Rodericks. Claudia Sinopoli. Tegan Sunny, with distinction. Abina Teichi. Kaylin Wark. Taylor Wilkins. Bachelor of Arts, Honors, History. Nathaniel Bailey. Paula Eduarda Correa Fontes. Isaiah Alamin. Jason Almedo. Matthew Jesus. Jean-Claire Joven. Yusuf Yuri Mikhailov, with distinction. Megan Pimentel, with distinction. Simon Raposo, with distinction. Bachelor of Arts, Honors, History and Philosophy. Yonatan Lavrukov. Bachelor of Arts, International Economics and Finance. Ayomide Akinbuli, with distinction. Na An. Patricia Arce.
I love you, Patricia.
Mohid Mohsin Azami. Daniela Bragagnolo, with distinction. Tanika Bryan with distinction. Mayomide Dada. Rabia Fatima. Shazida Ghafoor. Eric Huynh. Shri Shivani. Stephen Lokpat. Mingyoung Ma. John McDonald. Maliha Miti. Ryan Muawad. Yash Naik. Oyen Kamsola Obiomi. Zikun U. Zalak Patel. Daniel Platnick. Jaren Raisa. Ryan Ramsuchit with distinction. Brianna Reese. Sarkar Siddiq. Rima Takar. Sebastian Vecharina. Dean Young with distinction. Anika Zaman. Bachelor of Arts, Honors, Philosophy. Diane Lorenzo. Jessica MacArthur. Andrew Majur. Nikia Riley. Daniel Sidlowski with distinction. Benjamin Strawn with distinction. Bachelor of Arts, Psychology. Maisha Hassan with distinction. Luis Quincy Joyce Alfonso. Angelica Alves. John Ardosa Morinaj with distinction. Leah Bertler with distinction. Isabella Bifolci with distinction. Julianne Bush with distinction. Melody Bouzon. Madeline Candy with distinction. Minshi Zoe Chow. Mahida Chowdhury with distinction. Caitlin Cheeseman with distinction. Alexandra Combo with distinction. Karen Dato with distinction. Nadia DeLuca with distinction. Andreas Demopoulos with distinction. Savannah DiMuccio with distinction. Pauline Dumlau. Sarah Dunnett with distinction. Oluwapelumi Egbewumi. Sonia Eldarov with distinction. Erica Equizi with distinction. Janae Ferguson. Julia Fernandez. Alessandra Fracassi with distinction. Giselle Franco with distinction. Yusuf Ghauri with distinction. Mira Gittelman with distinction. Nicole Gonsalves. Charlie Gracebeard with distinction. Priya Gupta. Trishelle Harris. Shekinah Lois Hendive. Beatrice Hippolito. Emma Hoskin with distinction. Sana Junaid with distinction. Julianne Kazdan. Tiffany Cotrazo. Susanna Lee with distinction. Fengming Liu. Omega Luxor with distinction. Gabrielle Morozzo with distinction. Wasila Mariam with distinction. Jeremy Message. Rachel Mohabir with distinction. Tyler Moretti. Kira Mota Kilgallen with distinction. Seamus Murphy. Alexandra Nash with distinction. Noma Wachukwu. Midiana Pachito with distinction. Shivani Patel. Melissa Post. Hannah Rasuk with distinction. Madison Rodriguez. Mira Rawson with distinction. Abisha Sasikaran with distinction. Caitlin Scott. Tanmay Singh. Carly Skolnick. Melissa Solazzo with distinction. Kaku Tumi. Joseph Urban with distinction. Jenna Vieira with distinction. Danielle Westrich with distinction. Jarvis Weradharma with distinction. Malia Yard. Spencer Young with distinction. Bachelor of Arts, Honors, Sociology. Chala Akdeniz. Liza Anwari. Soledad Borland. Andrew Brooks with distinction. Sukneet Buttar. Lana Chowdhury. Sienna Clayton. Daniela Gritaro. Rian De La Cruz. Isabella Evanoff with distinction. Eric Fennick. Bethlehem Gebre Selassie. Joy Gergis Wahibi. Eva Gomez. Kendra Greasley with distinction. Malise Gozo. Luke Hamill. Rojan Husseini. Marissa Imamovich. Karen Ip. Beatrice Hereza with distinction. Valerie John. Tara Kamal. Shawara Layani Kandasamy. Sierra Lynn Kozak. Savannah Loader. Annalisa Lomonaco. Winifred Lee with distinction. Nicole Magnante. Samuel Maitman Markowski with distinction. Samuel Mati. Hannah Mulugeta. Alexander Nicholas. Jackson Noonan. Emanuela Ousu. Arshdeep Pabla. Victoria Pacione with distinction. Christina Pompilio with distinction. Michaela Powell. Victoria Rank. Sophie Redmond. Marvin Voltaire Reyna. Jesse Sao Vong. Abishana Salvara Gunathan. Abira Sivanason with distinction. Dimitra Skrivanos. Katarina Smith. Stephanie Squillaci. Serena Suchanek. Alessia Tancreti. Alyssa Tevez. Carly Todorick. Vanessa Tomasi. Audrey C. Taylor Veenstra. Reneka Vijayaratnam. Sarah Weld. Anya Williams. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present candidates for the graduate degrees in the Faculty of Arts, Master of Arts, International Economics and Finance. Shireen Hamadi. Mariam Nassim. Mariam Oyawoye. Ezana Sahale. Master of Arts, Philosophy. Samantha Arthurs. Jun Gao. Jameson Hawkins. Juan Marquez Leon. Marco Tang. Sarah Tuman. Lahel Vituska. Daryl Wilson. Master of Spatial Analysis. Spatial Analysis. Vera DeWitt. Yi-Chun Du. Mayra Greenbaum. Yogesh Mandal. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present candidates for the graduate degrees in the Yates School of Graduate Studies. Master of Arts, Communication and Culture. Sarah Asias. Caitlin Neve. Suen Oat. Alana Taylor. Kathleen Emily Walsh. Master of Arts, Immigration and Settlement Studies. Roxana Iskandarpur. Krista Robinson. Doctor of Philosophy, Psychology. Peter Agato. Amar Kidwai. Doctor of Philosophy, Communication and Culture. Mina Momeni. Madam Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of today's graduates.
Hello, Toronto Met grads. I'm Jen McMillan, Vice Provost students, and I'm so excited to share this moment with you. After years of hard work and great memories, you finally made it to the finish line. Congratulations on this huge accomplishment. I know you have a lot of family and friends in your corners too, people who supported you when you needed it most, and who cheered you on at every milestone. Whether they are near or far, they are celebrating you today, and no doubt incredibly proud of your achievements. I hope you feel that your degree not only represents what you learned in the classroom, but how you made the most of your time here. You worked hard, tackling assignments, studying for exams, and balancing jobs, but also played hard, joining clubs, making athletics history, and becoming student leaders. While some of you might have grown up close by, many of you spent hours on a plane to get here, and that's the beauty of this place. We're a community made up of people from all around the world who found a second home at TMU. So take all of your experiences, your successes and learnings, and dive into every opportunity that lies ahead. Grow the network of friends you've built here and help one another thrive in new spaces around the world. I hope you keep getting involved, keep speaking up, and keep living out loud because this world needs you, just as you are. Do you hear me? It needs you, and I'm so happy we could help you on your way. Congratulations again.
When I moved here to go to university, I was, this kid in this big, intimidating city, and this place just felt like home to me.
And I knew immediately, having just come from Jamaica, that that was the place for me.
I spent 3 years here. These are still the best 3 years of my life.
One of the fondest memories that I had was being here at 1, 2 in the morning. You're leaving at around 3 a.m., but it didn't matter because you were doing what you loved.
My fondest memory at the university was the day I graduated. Dr. G. Raymond Chang, our previous chancellor, was handing it off to me. I remember when I got up to that stage, I whispered over to him, "I'm Jamaican as well. I'm so proud to have you as my chancellor." And we giggled.
Interaction with meeting students from all over the world. Interaction with my instructors of the day.
My fondest memory was getting a husband.
The warmth, the camaraderie, the buildings were so friendly.
During my 8 years as president of the university, I officiated at well over 50 convocations. My fondest memory really was to see the students coming across the stage, to see their families excited with them, and to see so many of the students who are graduating be the first in their family to get a degree.
And it's all true. Yes, thank you. It's not fluff.
Now, please welcome Provost and Vice President Academic, Jennifer Simpson.
Congratulations again. I'm so glad to be here with all of you and friends and family. My name's Jennifer Simpson. I'm the Provost and Vice President Academic, and it's my first graduation as well. I started at TMU just a year ago in July 2021. So again, congratulations. You have arrived at this day, at this celebration, and at this accomplishment. Congratulations. As we bring today's convocation ceremony to a close, we can reflect on the sacrifices and successes that have led to this moment for each of you. Take a minute to consider the challenges that you have overcome. Endless study sessions and all-nighters dedicated to finishing a project or to getting through tough exams. Extracurricular activities that you've balanced with a demanding academic schedule. And on top of all of this, a global pandemic that pushed and challenged you in unimaginable ways. You've also gained considerable things along the way. Cherished memories at varsity games, campus events to reminisce about with lifelong friends. And hopefully a lifelong appetite for learning to fuel your growth in the years ahead. And every day you showed up and persevered. You asked tough questions, you challenged the status quo, and you triumphed. This is a day of well-deserved celebration for you and your families and friends. We can also say that right now, today, you are standing at the beginning of your own next chapter. And we expect that you'll have moments of excitement and probably also of frustration and doubt. And sometimes it's in those moments of frustration and doubt that feels like the most important. What am I going to do now? And I think I had one of those about a year after I got my bachelor's degree and was struggling with what I was going to do next. I wanted to change my job. Was I going to go to graduate school? What was I going to do? And I still remember what I did in that moment, and I was nervous about it, but I thought I got to talk to someone, and I reached out to a former professor. In the department I majored in, and I was a little nervous. Is he going to remember me? You know, is this going to help? But I did that. I reached out, and the first thing that I realized was he was so glad to hear from me. He was so excited, and he remembered me. And the advice he gave me then, I remember 30 years later now, and he said to me, whenever possible, follow your heart. And that's what we've heard over and over again today from our honored speaker, Justice Go, Dr. Go. Reminded us of the importance of being human, I think, and following our heart. So we want you to trust yourselves. Trust your own passions, your commitments, what you know deep inside. And also reach out. Take that chance to reach out and ask, I don't know what to do right now. Can you help me think through this or feel through this? You can bring us your questions and your successes. We are here. We hope you continue to ask questions, to keep learning, and to stay open. I'll also take a minute to give a special thank you to family members and friends who helped you along the way. Thank you to all of you for your great support of our graduates. So good luck and congratulations to our graduates. We want you to remember one really important thing, that by completing your journey here, you will always be part of the Toronto Metropolitan University family, an ever-growing group of passionate people doing remarkable work in every corner of the world. Good luck with all of your future endeavors. We look forward to what each of you will contribute to our shared future. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost Simpson. At this point, I wish to thank all the volunteers and faculty members here today who helped make this ceremony a wonderful experience for all. Graduates and guests, once again, congratulations from everyone at this university. I hope you enjoy this special day. But First, if you are able, please rise and join Catherine Rowan from our office, the Office of the Dean in the Faculty of Arts, in the singing of our national anthem. Following the anthem, please remain standing until all of the graduates have left the arena. Thank you for celebrating with us today.